All right, y'all, we're back with another video today on the NJ Fishing _ TV channel. Today we got the YN mindset is ruining society. So we're gonna react to this. This is from Blackie Speaks. I don't know. I never heard of this channel. So yeah, we're just gonna see how it is. Comments here. I don't even know. So yeah, this might be good. It might be bad. So. Yeah, well, let's see how it goes. Hope you all enjoy.
Now, if you're on certain spaces of TikTok and social media, I'm sure a lot of people have heard the term YN. Not to be confused with Young Ninja. YN stands for Young Nigga, which is a slang popularized by rap culture. The term is supposed to represent young black men, mostly teens, and is heavily associated with the image of a black face, often in connection with erratic behavior, which 99% of the time involves hurting people, whether that be stealing, robbing, or just being belligerent. However, this term is not defined by skin color. It's more a mindset that the new generation of young people are taking on. We're talking about children as young as 10 being influenced.
And it's retarded. It's like a kid's retarded, bro.
By the behaviors that come with this term, and they're mainly being influenced by it through different forms of media, social media being the main one.
Like, there's no respect towards older people in my generation, in Gen Z, Gen Alpha, none, zero respect towards like the younger Gen Z and no, the older Gen Z, no, the younger Gen Z, yeah, it's younger, yeah, and the younger Gen Alpha too. Older Gen Alpha. I can't get it right. Yeah. Younger Gen Z, older Gen Alpha. There's zero respect towards older people. It's actually becoming a problem. It's like that's a problem in society. Like the younger people need to show respect to older people, and this is like the type of shit. Like yelling at an adult and like just saying dirty shit, you know.
But we also have music, specifically rappers, promoting this way of showing up in the world. A lot of the violent behavior from young people being publicized on social media right now can be connected to this mindset.
People
as well.
thought rock music was bad in the 80s for your kids.
YN mindset is slowly ruining society. Rapper King Von, who died back in 2020, might be the poster boy for this conversation, because Von was not only the physical representation of what the YN term is associated with, which is a blackface, but King Von was also big on being a menace to society. That's what Von not only spoke about in his music, but he took pride in being the way he was. And then he got himself into an altercation in November 2020 and got himself killed. Now, Von is just one example out of many, but he was a famous rapper, so he managed to, at the very least, reap the rewards from operating this way. Through the means of making a bunch of money from his music, he gained a lot of notoriety, fame, and recognition during his short-lived career. And although Von isn't here anymore, his music continues to influence kids all over the world in a negative way.
You say you want to come ride with us? Yeah. What you gonna do though, like, if you get caught?
I ain't snitched. I went to juvie. I actually went to juvie because I teacher with scissors. And you can ask Larry. I chased my teacher with scissors.
Yeah.
I chased my teacher with scissors and I stabbed her.
Yeah, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. Teachers don't get fucking paid enough to deal with that. And I'm coming. I get y'all. This is coming from a white kid and whatever. And like I grew up in the fucking suburbs. I don't care. The fact that people disrespect their teachers like this, and like this is like D1 level disrespect of like chasing your goddamn teacher around with scissors. I get if you don't like your teachers, and I don't like a lot of my teachers too, but why in the fuck are you doing that to your teacher who does not get paid enough to deal with you? He doesn't. I genuinely feel bad for teachers, and I'm not trying to be a teacher's pet, no nothing, like, but I just feel bad because they have to deal with disrespectful kids. It's horrible. And teachers can't discipline, can't do anything. It's not how it used to be back in the 50s. Like, it's not the same. So you can't discipline because you get sued up the ass. So, like, it's dumb. Like, I find it really annoying how people are.
Though, but that's not cool.
Huh?
It's not cool to be bad.
It is cool. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm just trying to be like my idol,
Who your idol?
King Von.
What the?
Now, that clip that I just played you, I thought was some
King Von is a serial killer. I don't like. Why the fuck are we idling serial killers, bro?
kind of like skit when I, first came
But he was a rapper. No, he was a serial killer, and he was a rapper after.
across it, but it's actually real.
Serial
Here
killer
we have a
first,
young
bro.
black boy around the age of 10 or 12 being asked about riding around with grown men on a robbery spree. He's bragging about having been to juvie, how he hurt his teacher, and that King Von influenced him to be this
10?
way. And by the way, the title of this YouTube short, which is over 5 million views, is Crazy YN Chased His Teachers with Scissors. Now, the question I had when I seen this video was, why is this adult male in the car making these suggestions to this kid that's a whole nother issue, right? But this is something we don't talk about often enough. It's not just thousands. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of young people, might be in the millions at this point, adopting a similar way of thinking, being, and moving. And sadly, most of them are young black teens. But then again, like we stated, it's not a race thing, but more of a cultural thing. We're going to dive into that later.
Yeah, it's also going on with Mexicans and Hispanics and whites too. It's not just a race thing. He's right. It's going on with everybody. And, in case y'all don't know, they call the white people the YCs, young crackers.
For the more mature crowd
That's
watching
what
this
they
video,
say,
right,
bro.
who may not be on social media or even have, let's say, young nephews, nieces, or children growing up in this, new age of social media, a lot of you guys might actually be confused and completely in the dark about this YN mindset that I'm talking about. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing about this. If that's the case and you enjoy this conversation so far, drop a like on this video, right? For others, especially all the younger people who watch this channel, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And then we have, people like myself kind of in the middle where I'm connected to it in a lot of
It's also like people disrespecting cops too. I hope that they make it legal. If you disrespect a cop and you don't abide their lawful orders, they can drag you out your fucking car and start beating your ass with their batons. Because it's not with just like kids and YNs or whatever. It's with the adults too. I think they should drag people out of their cars and start beating their ass with their batons. That's what they should fucking do. Because disrespecting a cop, just like put fear in people that you're gonna get your ass beat if you disrespect them and don't like abide by their lawful orders. And guys, tip out there, always listen to a cop no matter what they say. Even if it's like not right or whatever, like, or if it's like not like the right thing or they're like doing you wrong, like they got it wrong. I don't know how to explain it. Y'all know what I'm talking about though. Like if they're doing that, just abide, do what they say, and then you can sue their ass when you're done, and you'll get some money. Don't try and fight back. When you get pulled over, you listen to everything they say. You don't reach down for nothing. This is like just a tip to everybody in general. Do not fucking do that, because you will get your ass tased, shot, dragged out of your car, your windows broken, something like that. Like you're gonna get like. The reason, this is like a long segment, but I'm just going to explain. The reason cops are so edgy when it comes to that kind of stuff, they do not know what you have on you. They don't know if you have a gun. It could be a millisecond. You could grab a gun from like your car, bottom of your car floor or something. I don't know, wherever the hell you got a gun in the glove box. Reach out, you can shoot that cop, and he's dead. Because they don't know. They don't know what you have. So that's why cops are so tense. And so like on the defense, and they're always like kind of berating you with questions and stuff because they don't know what they have on you. Like that's the reason cops are like that. Like that's the entire reason why cops are like that, because they don't know everything. They don't know what you got on you. So like, hey dude, this like cop was like kind of being a dick. Yeah, because he doesn't know. Like that's why he's being so like rude and stuff, because he doesn't know what's going on.
ways and I see what's happening, but obviously I'm old enough to.
Sorry, that was like a long talking segment right there, but yeah, that's
enough
that's
sense
the
to know
problem.
how dysfunctional it is for society in general. First, we got to get clear about one thing, which is the YN term is a term that propagates a negative stereotype of black boys. For most people who know about this term and what it means, when they think about it, what probably pops up in their mind visually is a young black teen with a ski mask, maybe accompanied with a Glock 45, robbing people and being
Okay, the reason that people think that is because you use the N-word in it. So why wouldn't I think about a black person? I mean, yes, it also has become a cultural thing, but also when you use a racial slur in the term, I think I'm going to think about a black person, and it has young in it, so I'm going to think about a teen. So I don't want this guy to come in here, and I don't even know what he's going to say, but I don't want him to come in here and saying like, oh, well, that's not how you should say it. No, I'm going to think that way. First thing that pops in my head, because you use the N-word in the term. So
menace, and that's something I personally think is a problem, right? It shouldn't be like that, but obviously it is, and there's some reasons behind it, and we're gonna get into that later on. Now, the term to me isn't actually the issue, as crazy as it sounds, because if it stopped at just being words, there wouldn't be anything to talk about. The biggest problem is the mindset behind it and the energy it carries. For anyone who's heard the term YN, you've also probably heard crash out. Crash out is more of a mainstream way of describing when someone completely loses control, acts off emotion, ego, or pain with no thought for the consequences that may follow. I think Duke Dennis, who's a popular streamer. He explained it perfectly.
Crashing out is making a decision in a split second that could throw your whole life away. That's what crashing out is. Crashing out is, I'm ready to die about it. I'm ready to go to jail about it right now. Whole time the situation is not even worth going to jail about or dying about.
And shout out to Duke Dennis for the very proper explanation. In other words, you lose all logic and reasoning and let your emotions guide you towards an action that completely messes up your whole life when it could have been avoided. And these two terms, YN and crashing out, they're very connected. One of them, crash out, describes a general way of behaving without taking the person into account. So crash out can be about just about anybody, right? It can be about someone who's 15 years old, or it can be about someone who's 85 years old. YN is, however, catered towards the younger generation. And like we stated, it's often associated with young black teens. Now the question is, what is considered YN behavior? Well, let's put it like this, right? Anything that's reckless, belligerent, and violent. So let me give a few examples, right? Smash and grabs are a prime example of this. Back in 2020, specifically around the time of the 2020 riots, we saw a spike in a very specific type of crime, and it was called smash and grabs. Smash and grabs, for anyone who doesn't know, is a term that describes a type of crime where a bunch of people run into a store, most times being a designer clothing store or a place where they have expensive jewelry, computers, etc. They break the windows, they run inside, take a bunch of shit, and they just dip, right? A lot of this was happening in the major cities in the US like New York, Los Angeles, etc. I think a lot that was happening can be connected to the things that were going on politically during that time, yes, but I think the pandemic and COVID-19 was a turning point for sure. I don't know about you, but I noticed how humans became way more, disconnected from each other after 2020 overall, and the way we interacted with each other as humans, right?
Well,
but also what people were.
Yeah, well, that was because when everybody stayed inside for the lockdown during COVID, like, it got rid of our, like, severely lowered our social skills and just kind of, like, cooked it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just cooked it, like, being inside for so long and just, like, not. Hello, y'all. I'm going to give y'all a short little message today. I just want to remind y'all, please join the Discord, because in about, I'd say, a week, maybe, like, less than that, I'm going to be starting a Christmas giveaway. It is going to be Fortnite, like, virtual money. I might do a Steam gift card based on whatever y'all want, but it's probably going to be Fortnite. I will set up a poll in the Discord. So, guys, like, literally join the Discord server, to be in this giveaway and to suggest, like, what I should do. Should it be, like, Robux, V-Buck, like, whatever cards, and, yeah, and, Steam gift cards, too. It could be Xbox Game Pass for all I care. But yeah, we'll be doing that. So join the Discord. That's what I want y'all to do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on this video. Yeah, so that's all I got for y'all. Check out all the socials, links in below. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of the video. Peace out. Yeah, not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Willing to do to
I sound like an idiot.
others as far as hurting their fellow human beings.
Yeah, just
so
not
with
being
that shift, I noticed,
just not
and maybe you
interacting with
noticed
other
this as
people in
well,
person.
I noticed how a lot of crimes were becoming way more vicious. You started hearing more and more about old people getting beat up and robbed. Gang violence became way more intense in communities all over the world, and kids started getting caught in the middle of it more often. People started having less and less concern for each other, and individualism, I would say, is at an all-time high right now, especially after 2020. But around 2020, this thing called smash and grabs became a common occurrence. Some of y'all might have seen a lot of those videos of a bunch of teens running inside a store, let's say a clothing or electronic store, stealing a bunch of clothes, laptops, and iPhones. And sometimes they arrive in, big ass groups, right? All ski masked up, looking like Pooh Shiesty.
Sunday, a group of thieves stole from the Nike store in East LA. We are blurring their faces here because they appear to be juveniles. And last week, a flash mob robbery occurred at the Americana at Brand, one of developer Rick Caruso's properties. He says despite their sophisticated security systems and armed guards, it still happened.
And sometimes they arrive by themselves, like this man at this Apple store, and they, clean out the whole spot.
There's no point in even fucking doing the Apple phones. Thing is with Apple phones now, is that when you take them out of the store, they don't work. Like, those are like demo phones. So Apple like implemented some like stuff, or like if you take it out of the store, like I saw it once when there was like a looting or a riot thing, and I saw it on this like video or whatever, where you take it out of the store and this thing pops on the screen, hey, return to the store. Like the phone's just stuck on one screen, like it doesn't work. So there's literally zero point of taking Apple phones. I don't get why people do that, because those phones aren't gonna work, because they're not even in the store. So
Not only did he clean out the whole spot of all their iPhones, put all the phones in his boxers, but he did all that and literally walked past a police car. If that ain't talent, bravery, and confidence in one, I don't know what is. But all jokes aside, right? This is what people associate a YN with. And although the image that pops up in people's heads is a black male or teen rocking a Pujazi ski mask, let's focus on the behavior itself, because that's what we're talking about. The YN mindset is a way of behaving, operating, and seeing the world. You don't think the consequences of your actions will catch up to you. Like this clip of this white kid talking a bunch of trash to a police officer and getting manhandled.
This is the shit I'm talking about. People having the mindset like this and then acting like if they talk shit to a cop and talk back, that they're not gonna, nothing's gonna happen. He will fucking body you. Cops will kick your ass. I don't get why people disrespect cops like this. Like, this is like genuinely just idiotic. Like, this is how you get shot. You know?
Let me get your ID. You ain't gonna get shit. Okay. Take it off and you'll see. Well, what you laughing for? I'm writing your shit. Take it off.
And we're gonna cut it right
Exactly. It fucking exactly. Like, this kid just got his, like...
there, because YouTube is very strict these days, okay? Let's just say that the end result was the young man begging for mercy on the ground, okay? Now, rap music has been a huge proponent of pushing the normalization of the YN mindset, and this is something I've spoken about on here for years in different contexts. We've seen countless young rappers crashing out for absolutely no reason, whether it's home invasions turned deadly in the TK case, or killing one of the most famous drill rappers at the time, Pop Smoke, when you're only 15 years old. That's a concoction of crash out and YN behavior. And you often see memes about this kind of thing, but I've yet to see an actual real conversation about what's created this phenomenon and why it needs to be abolished.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is
We're talking about young people in large amounts, acting reckless, belligerent, hurting people in the process without any regard for how it's going to affect their lives and others. And it's also not that the older generation, let's say the 80s babies, weren't on demon time during the crack era, okay? Because they obviously were. Just ask your parents. It's just that we keep on seeing more recklessness and more innocent people getting caught in the middle of it. And a lot of this is being televised to an entire generation of young children through social media. And the number one, commonality that I've observed in this type of behavior is structure or lack thereof. Often we see this type of behavior in society, either in your own backyard or in close proximity to you or the people you love. You'll notice how a lot of these young boys, right? Specifically young boys, because young girls aren't out.
Also, another problem is that the fact that it's also common among the black community. It's common among every family in the U.S. Like, this is the case. This is specifically in the U.S. So I'm just talking about every family in the U.S. So pretty much the rate, like divorce rate. We're talking about divorce rate here. So a lot of parents or a lot of kids don't have a married like parents in their house. Like, they don't have a mom and dad in the house together. And there's no like, it's either a single mother. It's usually a single mom household because the dad is usually kicked out. It's just how the system works. So it's a single mom household. The mom is sometimes off out in the club, or she just doesn't give a shit about her kid and just kind of lets them do whatever they want. This is that end result, that we don't have a structured family. There's no dad to discipline. Like, I am forever grateful for the fact that my dad has stayed with my mom. My sister is too. My dad has been married for how many years? 2025, almost 26 years. I'm what, 15, 14? Yeah, and they've stayed together, and I hope they never divorce, because, like, honestly, like, that's like what's kept me from like not like falling into this type of behavior. Because that happened to my dad when he was younger. Like, his parents got divorced, and he was just, it was bad for him. Like, he just acted out really, really bad. So honestly, I think it's the fact of people of just like, there isn't like a structured household. It's also a huge factor. There's not a structured household. It's only a mom, and a lot of the times, the mom doesn't give a shit. The mom is just getting that child support money, and is just kind of like sitting there. Or they're always out in the club, and they're just doing other shit. And this is what's causing, say, back early in the video, it was that 10, 11-year-old is out there stabbing his goddamn teacher. Like, what? That's insane. So, I mean, it's honestly because That's also a very huge factor is the fact that there's not a structured household.
Here, like put on ski
There's
masks
no
and,
mom and
like,
dad.
robbing
It's
stores,
usually-
right? Most times,
And it's not just the mom. Like sometimes it's single dad too. Maybe the dad. But usually I'm just talking about majority. It's usually single mom. The dad isn't there anymore. Like the dad's gone, or it's like split custody and the child's like acting out. And this is the kind of acting out we're talking about, and then they just get stuck in it. Like they just get stuck in this horrible mindset. They get stuck in the YN mindset, and now they're crashing out on the streets and gangs and stuff. You know, like this is what happens.
in 99%
Unfortunately.
of the cases, they're not right. You'll notice how a lot of these young boys come from fatherless households, and 9 times out of 10, they were most
we're
likely
talking.
raised by
I hope to God he would mention that video, and I just did a whole thing explaining it. Now he's saying
a
it.
single mother. A lot of times we also see another thing, which is they either come from an impoverished background. If not that, at the very least, we're talking about a working class background. And here's the thing. What happens when a father is absent in a lot of cases? Well, according to the studies, this has been very well documented. They say the following. Research shows when a child grows up in a father-absent home, he or she is 4 times more likely to live in poverty.
That is because women tend to spend more money than men. Just because this is not, I am not trying to be like, what is it, sexist in any way towards a woman. But I'm just saying women tend to spend more than men. Mostly because of like beauty products and certain like clothing, like just popular stuff that they see always on ads and everything is pushed at them and they buy it. Like it's true. Like my mom does that. My sister does. Like just from what I've seen and from what I've heard, it's pretty true to me. So, and women tend to work not as high paying jobs. Like they work as like say someone that cuts hair, or they work like a cubicle job. Like that's very common. It's very common among women to do that. Like women can go work. I'm not saying women can't work in like say like a blue collar job. They can go like work in the damn oil fields. Like they can go do that if they want to, but women tend to work in like not as hard jobs. Like cutting hair is hard. Like standing on your feet all day, it does hurt, but it's not as hard as working on like underwater welding or something, or working on cars all day and getting down and dirty, you know. So that's also
more
a
likely
factor.
to suffer emotional and behavioral problems. Children of single mothers show higher levels of aggressive behavior than children born to married.
And what I'm trying to correlate that with the poverty thing is that they just like tend to waste a little more money. That's what I'm just trying to say. And I might be wrong, but I'm just trying to think like that's also what I'm trying to say here.
Mothers. And number 4 is very
Yeah.
major because it kind of goes hand in hand with
Like
this
they need
topic.
the nails,
and that
they need
is
the hairs,
more likely
like
to
all
go
that
to
kind of
prison.
stuff. Like
One in
it's
5
kind of waste
prison
money.
inmates had a father
know?
in prison. And then a
Tends
number
to
5,
spend more
which is
money, and
very,
that's
very, very
sometimes why they
important
live
for
in
this
poverty.
topic. More likely to commit crime. Study of juvenile
Mm-hmm.
offenders indicate that family structure significantly predicts delinquency. Number 8, we have more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol. And then at number 10, we have 2 times more likely to drop out of high school. Now, obviously, not every single teen who comes from this type of background ends up committing brazen crimes or acts belligerent or shows a lack of self-control in spaces occupied by others, right? And the question is, why is that? Well, there's a couple angles to this. First of all, a big one that's not emphasized is personality. You can come from the worst conditions and have every single obstacle against you known to mankind. If you're not naturally inclined to be this type of person, you're not going to put on a mask and start robbing old folks, right? And on the other hand, you can come from a household of love, 2 loving parents. You know, your name could be Clarence, and if you find the idea of being a menace to society appealing, then that's the path you're going to go down. And then we, of course, have a mix of this along with environmental influences, which we'll touch on later.
Which I don't think that would happen if, like, say, like what he said, a guy named Clarence, 2-parent household, but he finds that identity. I think the dad would be like, honestly, I'm gonna say it. If I had a kid, I'm however old, I have a kid, and my kid's coming up, and he's acting out in school, and he's yelling at his teachers and doing all this shit, and he's acting like that towards me or my wife or something, like his mom or whatever, I beat his ass. I would get that belt and I would beat him, because you do not treat your teachers like you gotta like show him, no, that is not the right path to go down. You gotta like discipline him. Like that's what we gotta do. and that's what we don't have in society anymore, is that we have gentle parenting and just parents not giving a shit and not disciplining their kids. They're just kind of letting it happen. No.
From that, another
No.
aspect of
Yeah.
this is back in the day, there used to be this thing called a rite of passage, something you did that marks the transitional phase of your life into adulthood. And this rite of passage added a layer of accountability to them as people, and it set a precedent that said you're now responsible for your own life, so act accordingly. Nowadays, we don't have any of that. Culturally, things are less structured. I mean, this young new generation doesn't really even know how to follow authority. Just take a look at what's happening with teachers and their students now.
Disrespect from students. In the 3 years that I've been teaching, I've been cussed at countless times. I've been called fat. I've been called a B word.
A lot of the young people from this generation think that following basic instructions like sit down or put your phone down is a sign of disrespect. A lot of the youth who adopt this Hawaiian mindset actually come from loving households. They didn't have to worry about missing meals or going to sleep without a blanket, only, showering with cold water, sleeping on the floor, eating rice and
No, I think the parents of that child should beat that fucking child's ass because, like discipline them. Not like child abuse or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, you need to discipline that child because he will grow up and then he will probably get into some crime and he'll fall into, like, bad habits and, like, hanging out with the wrong kind of people. And I think the parents, like, it's like, you need to discipline, bro. Like, this is what we don't have in society, in our society specifically, the U.S., is that we do not discipline our fucking children. This is why we have a problem in this country with that. And why people are falling into the YN mindset, because we don't have two, like, a dad and mom household where they're running it together and they're doing it together. And we don't, like, and it's just also social media, and it's just like, bro.
beans, you feel me? A lot of them have been spoiled to the point where consistency in their household or outside suddenly turns into a prison, which is why they're often looking for excitement in the outside world. And that excitement leads them down a road where they start acting out in ways that not only put themselves in danger, but the rest of us that want nothing to do with any of this. And a lot of the young boys who fall into this category, right, of kind of having this Hawaiian mindset, a lot of them just have no identity. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they want in life. They don't know where they're actually going. And it doesn't help that they don't have any real life positive and tangible influences around them as a symbol for what they can.
So I'm talking about
become.
the
On top of that,
parents running together household, like mom
their
and dad.
algorithm is pushing all this low life behavior.
Because the dad usually gives them a positive, like a positive guidance. Usually, like that's what fathers usually provide, is positive guidance, and so can the mom. But I think it's more or less like having two parents guide you is like a lot better.
Or content in front of them, whether it's people acting out in public and fighting, or things like videos of people who look just like them, white, black, purple, not color specific, terrorizing innocent people by being belligerent, ruthless, and a menace to society. And that validates their way of living.
Guy
and it
ain't
plans
doing
to see
shit,
that, then
bro. What is
normalizes
this guy
way of
doing?
living in their mind. When you're spending more time with a screen that's made to program your mind in a negative way than with
Is that guy
real
helping
people,
him
is
out?
it really a surprise that so many of these young kids are turning out this way? I don't really think so. And speaking of the identity thing, because I think this is worth hitting on a little more. I think this is the core of the issue, actually. Notice how a lot of the, in this case, the YNs who fall in this category, right? They tend to roll in packs. Now, why is it that people who exude this, I'm a savage mindset don't have the confidence to walk in the streets by themselves? You're supposedly this tough guy who likes to prey on a weak, and you'll beat up anybody who tests you, and you love to cause ruckus in the streets, but you don't have enough cojones to go outside by yourself. Let me tell you why that is. It's because a lot of these young men don't have an identity. They find their sense of security in the group because they don't have a sense of themselves. And the only time they can be themselves is when they're around a pack of 13 other YNs who think just like them. That's how they feel safe being them. They don't have any home training. They don't know what it means to conduct themselves in a public setting and be one with their environment. They're loud, they're aggressive, and they're repelling, honestly. So a lot of this stems from not knowing who they are.
This is like, I'll explain it. So there's one kid in my grade. All right, so I'm gonna explain this. It's this one kid in my grade. He's a black guy, and how he acts, I really hate it. Personally, okay, so he wears a shiesty, and we're not allowed to like have hoods and stuff, but he just wears it on his head. It looks funky, but either way, like he got suspended. I'm not like If anybody from my school watching this video, please do not name drop in the comments. I don't want him to be on my channel and stuff like that. I don't want any name drops. So if anybody that I know and goes to my school and knows what I'm talking about, do not name drop in the comments. I will delete your comment if you do. So please do not. So he got suspended twice in 3 weeks for ripping a vape in the bathroom. How the fuck do you do that? Why are we on vapes, first of all? We know this. We know that they're full of aerosols and shit. A bunch of shit. That's like something for a whole different video. So why are we doing that? And then when a teacher, like my Lang Lit teacher, like I had him last try, like he was in my class, and he still is, but doesn't really do much no more. But he walks in late from lunch. Like we had lunch in the middle of the hour, second lunch. Walks in, it's the second half of class. He walks in late. Like what, 3 minutes late? 2 minutes? Probably ripping Nick in the bathroom. And then he talks, and he's walking by, and the teacher's like, "Oh, where you been?" or something. And he's like, "I have a pass." Like very loud and belligerent. And I'm like, dude, you don't gotta say it like that. Like he's trying to act tough, and I'm like, dude, like that's just not necessary. Like I sound like a teacher's pet right now, even with the fit I got on. But I'm just saying, like, why are you being rude like that? That shit ain't. It's not nice. Like you don't gotta be rude like that, dude. I think it's stupid. He's kind of having that YN mindset. That's what I feel like he's doing. He's trying to be tough, and like, bro, we're in a small town in Minnesota. Like, what are you gonna do around here? You just slide up on the block? There ain't no blocks to slide up on. Like,
lack of identity. And the natural response to that, rebellion, validated by the approval of the group. So their way of belonging is by being posted up with others who they feel have the same mission as them. The only oxymoron is the mission is obviously dysfunctional and it adds no value to society at all. And the thing is, there's a reason why a lot of these young men are so quick to crash out, catching felonies through stealing, robbing, and in some cases even taking a life. We've seen that in hip-hop, right? To them, catching a charge or crashing out, that's not a loss to them because they never felt like they even had a real place in society to begin with. If you're someone who, let's say you're in this demographic of people who could fall into this, the thing that's kind of gonna sway you from moving, all crazy and crashing out and being a YN, right? It's seeing the other paths that are available for you to walk in. Let's say you have a hobby you're passionate about. Maybe you like to sing, rap, write music, paint, health and fitness. Maybe you want to be the next Kai Cenat. Actually, don't try to be the next anybody. Just be you, right? Or you're in trading school, medical school, or you just graduated high school and you have plans to do something with your life. It's the options that are available for you that's going to make you not want to throw your life away by adopting the YN mindset and crashing out. The reality is there's a lot of young people these days who've given up. A lot of these are young men, sadly. And a lot of them, they lock themselves in the basement. They don't participate in life. They get hooked on drugs, alcohol, pornography.
I gotta pause this real quick. 1 second, chat. Alright, I think we're good now. Alright, we're good.
They play too much video games, whatever. They hate the world, they hate themselves, they hate women especially, and they're not willing to do anything to change their situation. And yes, there's something to be said about why a lot of those, young men are in those particular situations, but obviously crashing out ain't really gonna solve anything. That's what we're talking about here, right? And then what happens a lot of times in a situation like that is they get involved in the wrong crowd, and then a bunch of people with no identity come together and cause a bunch of chaos that we have to deal with in our communities. So it's on us to clean.
Why don't you just pull out a gun and start shooting them? Because this shit is degenerate. Okay, don't shoot them. I take that back. Don't shoot them. But you need to, arrest them. Well, they're also recording them, so they're going to get their faces anyways, and they're going to get their body, and they're probably going to get arrested anyways. So,
clean it up, because when one of these YNs robs an 80-year-old lady and she slips and hits her head and dies, that's unnecessary pain and suffering that people in our communities have to deal with. Energetically and spiritually, there's something that happens to you as a human being when other humans around you are grieving. That energy gets transferred to the rest of the community and it lowers the frequency of the environment around you. I'm talking people walk around more anxious that it could happen to one of their loved ones or them. And I'm talking about, let's say, one of these YNs, doing something that leads to someone in a particular community dying, and then that kind of feeds into the community. That's what I'm talking about, right? People start walking around tense, guarded, doubting that their fellow humans have some kind of agenda when all they're doing is being polite or helpful, and that becomes the new normal. That's how distrust in society among people.
My energy bill dropped from $150 to $50 by doing this. My friends laughed at me when I spent
Is created. And not to make this about money, right? But it does cost the government when tragedies happen. And a few examples of that, well, number one, emergency medical care for victims of violence. That is funded by the taxpayers, us. So it by default becomes a public burden. Number two, the police actually has to investigate the crimes, which that's an expense. And something that's kind of connected to this, which is, the average cost, and that's number three, the average cost of housing a juvenile in a detention center in the United States is over $200,000 a year. Did you know?
I didn't know it was that much. Why is it $200,000 a year? Why is it $200,000 for the government? What the hell? Why is it that much? That doesn't make any sense.
I didn't really know that. That's news to me, right? So when that 17-year-old young boy decides to catch a felony charge by popping somebody, right, or like doing something crazy, that's the price we got to pay for what he did. And also, number four, okay, let's not forget things like increasing cost of insurance in high crime neighborhoods. And number five, and also this is a big one, businesses taking their companies elsewhere and leaving the areas where, these, in this case, these YNs are terrorizing, right? And obviously it ain't just YNs, doing all this crazy stuff. That's what we're focusing on in this video, obviously, okay? So you get it. And then something that's connected to number five, and I'm sure some of y'all have heard about this, right? Which is, haven't y'all heard what's happening to so many, like specifically like black communities in America, whether it's Walmart, Target, or any other major chain that fuels the economy of said neighborhood? A lot of them are leaving these black neighborhoods, and they're leaving a lot of these neighborhoods because, a lot of people are stealing, and they're losing so much money to the point where it's not even profitable for them to actually stay in these neighborhoods, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a shame that, regular folks who aren't a part of all this craziness and all this chaos have to deal with this, and they don't have the funds to move, so they get affected, right? So it's really unfortunate how this is particularly affecting black neighborhoods all over America. A very small minority of our melanated brothers and sisters are, they're just honestly fucking it up.
Yeah, it's actually bad because you're like you're making Walmart or Kroger or Walgreens or whatever, you're making like essential like grocery stores, like affordable ones too, like Walmart, you're making them leave, and they are like one of the main like suppliers. Like that happened during COVID. Like they closed Targets up in the cities and like in Minneapolis, they closed Walmarts because they were getting robbed. They were losing more money than what they were actually getting because there was so much stuff being stolen from the store. It's insane. Like there was there was a different one, but the Chick-fil-A closed in Oakland. Remember that? No, it was No, it was In-N-Out closed in wherever, and because there was people in the drive-through busting people's windows and like robbing them. Like robbing the cars, so they closed it. Like that's the type of stuff we're talking about. Like you're making businesses leave, like essential businesses, like food store, like fast food stores, like they give food and all that. And then in Walmart and stuff, like that's
There's
essential
people, man.
things.
Like, I don't know what other way to put it. And obviously, like most people aren't on this. Like it's a very, very small minority of people like who are doing this, right? And I know it might feel like this conversation has taken a little bit of a turn, but I think all this is connected and it goes deeper than just a couple YNs. I'll be honest with y'all too, like I don't know if this is gonna get better. Like are things actually gonna get better? Because to me it feels like the younger generation is getting more belligerent as the years go by. It feels like social media has done a number on their mind, and the algorithms are validating this messed up way of thinking and operating, and there's so many forms of media that are just feeding into the dysfunction as well. If you ask me, I think what we need more of is strong parents, leadership, guidance, structure, you name it. I think that's the medicine.
He's exactly right. I completely agree with him. He's exactly right. Exactly freaking right, dude. I'm so glad to say that guy is actually right. I can't even lie. He's right. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do something. Nah, man, he's completely right, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
into a lot of the issues we've discussed in this video. However, the sad part
Exactly
is someone
right.
can grow up having all these things and more, but end up like this. We've seen it in so many different examples. A good example is T.I.'s son, King Harris. He's probably the best example of someone who had every advantage in the book, but still ended up trying to appear as a thug, a gangster, you know, someone who's about it. So there's no guarantees that someone ends up
He's trying to do it for the clout.
the right way. I know so many parents who've actually done their best, but their kids ended up catching felonies, murder charges. I mean, I know so many parents personally who they did actually do their best, but their kids still ended up catching felonies, murder charges, you name it. I guess in the end, all you can do is just do your best as a parent and hope for the best. Overall, it's also a community thing if you ask me. We as people, we have to make sure that our respective communities...
Well, okay. Also, the parents need to like try and get them out of the friend groups. Like the parents need to be hawk-eye watching their kids and know who they're hanging out with. That's also another factor. Is those people hanging out with like bad people, like people that like do that stuff and don't have like the strong parent household and the parents are actually doing stuff right. You also need to factor in. You need to get them away from the people that they're hanging out with. You need them to realize that those are not good people at all. That's also another thing.
Don't get destroyed by this type of behavior. We all got to make sure that we try to hold each other accountable as much as possible, and we actually protect our communities. That's one of the most important things that I think that we as people, we can do. Anyway, if you made it this far, drop a little like on this video for the algorithm. If you're new here, my name is Blackie Speaks, digital handshake, okay? Nice to meet you, and subscribe if you want to hear more from me, okay, moi. Hope y'all enjoyed this very thought-provoking commentary, and honestly, I just want the best for the youth, man. I think it's important to have these types of conversations, and
Honestly, W, man, this is a good video.
Specifically on this
Go
channel.
sub to
I
this
think it's
guy,
important
right?
to talk about this, honestly. And this is definitely connected to hip-hop culture and a lot of the things that we've spoken about, right? It's just so hard not to talk about things like this when you see a lot of the stuff that's going on these days. But anyway, you know, me aside, because I've been talking, okay? Any thoughts on this topic? I really want to hear what y'all have to say about this topic, okay, in the comment section below. So catch you guys there, but of course I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. I'm out. It's Billy, man. Peace.
W video, guys, from Blackie Speaks, man. Go check this guy out, chat.